Reaching the highest peaks in the world, that is the aim of my next guest, mountaineer and charity worker, Michał Leksiński, who's with me in the studio.
Hi, great to be here.
Great to see you. And now you're looking incredibly fit, incredibly healthy. Now you've already been on the peaks of mountains in Europe, Africa, America, Oceania, Australia, Antarctic.
Yeah.
Now, some of your attempts were unsuccessful. It's a danger as well as a passion, isn't it?
Well, it's not an easy passion, both for me and family probably. But I mean, it's a project which I developed almost 6 or 7 years ago with a charity foundation, Happy Kids. They are managing almost 20 family foster houses in Poland. And the challenge is called 7 Summits. So to tackle the highest peak of each continent. You have 7 continents, but actually because of the differences and some discrepancies around Europe and Australia, there are more peaks to climb. So 2 in Europe and 2 in Australia and Oceania to climb. So if someone wants to do this endeavor in the extended version, so 9 peaks, you have to conquer both Góra Kościuszki and Carsten's Pyramid in Australia and New Guinea, and in Europe, Mont Blanc, and in France, and Elbrus in Russia. For me, now I've already climbed 7 out of 9 peaks.
Okay, now I see that you very nicely pronounced the highest mountain in Australia, which is Mount Kosciuszko. Yeah. But the Australians don't call it that. Did you not have a bit of a problem getting understood? Because they all say Kosciuszko.
Kosciuszko, yeah, exactly. But actually, it's probably the easiest peak, 2,228 meters, almost flat. So you can very easily walk to it. But then you have to reach the Australia, so that's the challenge.
And tell me, so what's been the biggest challenge so far? Was it Antarctic?
Well, actually, if we talk about physical challenges and danger around the expedition, probably Denali in Alaska, so the highest peak of North America, but also one of the most harshest and hardest mountain to climb in the world, because the small plane leave you on Kalitna Glacier at 2,000 meters altitude, and then with the sleds you have to push everything up to the mountain with everything you've got, so tents, gasoline, all the gear, all the stuff, all the food for a 25 days expedition. So it's grueling and it's not easy task to do. I've met with this mountain twice, and twice I haven't been able to climb it. And actually I climbed almost all the way up, and I stood around 70 meters below the summit, but I couldn't reach the summit.
Gosh. Now we're showing pictures already of Everest, and that is the final goal. Has this been a dream of yours throughout your climbing career?
Well, they say that Everest is the mountain of dreamers rather than alpinists and mountaineers, because of the fact that it's also became kind of a victim of the commercialization and commercial expeditions. And when I started this project in 2016, this was a kind of a dream, but very far away dream and kind of an illusion, I would say. And now I'm like 10 or 8 months before the expedition, and I'm today with you also very openly saying that I'm going to climb the Everest, and that's my goal. Of course, there is a tricky part, because the expedition is enormously expensive, and you have to find the financial backing for it and sponsorship support, and that's my goal now. But still, in April next year, my goal is to in May actually to stand on the top of the world.
Now, you choose that time of the year. What are the differences depending on which month you start?
Well, actually, that's connected very strict with those cues that we saw in some pictures, like in 2019. We have to take into account the fact that Everest can be climbed only between April and May, and there is a very narrow weather window, somewhere in the middle of the May. So a lot of climbers, actually this year 400 people around the world, which seems a lot, but if you take another statistic and you will find out that Kilimanjaro is attempted by 35,000 people yearly. Right. Mm-hmm. That's a kind of a small amount then. So this 400 people try to tackle Everest, and they have 1, 2 or 3 small weather windows to be at 8,000 meters to climb from the last camp to the summit. And actually, even today morning, there have been a second wave of the Everest climbers who reached the summit, because now we are in the final stage of 2024 season. So it's kind of not me choosing the date, but it's the game with the weather. So the expedition starts in the beginning of April, and through the acclimatization process, because you face the altitude there, you're ready at the beginning of the May, and you can start going to the summit somewhere in the middle of the May.
And what will you be doing to prepare yourself for that trip? Apart from, of course, as you said, the financial burdens of it.
Well, I'm in a training mode all year, but before the expedition, a few months before, like, tempo goes up, and I start to train more intensely, for example, with this, even using stairs in an apartment in my block, when neighbors are seeing me with some heavy backpack going up down with hour or two. When winter comes, I take sleds out and put my children on the sleds and drag them to the kindergarten with sleds. It's a win-win situation. So basically, there is if I train now 4 or 5 times a week, I will train 7 to 9 times in a week, days before or months before the expedition, and I will use the special sports center, which got the chambers, which can be kind of vacuumed out of the air, and you can train in very similar conditions as you will be in some kind of level of altitudes.
Wait, where's this exactly?
Near Warsaw.
Warsaw?
Yeah, very near Warsaw. It's like 20 minutes from the city center, and you have like few chambers there and rooms actually. In some of them you can train, and they can be put at the altitude of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 meters. Mm-hmm. So the oxygen level is lower, and the pressure is lower also. Okay.
And this is only used by climbers, or
no? It's kind of a sports center, because it can be very easily used by cyclists or runners, just to adapt their body to go to some higher levels, so they can achieve more.
All right. Okay. So that's fascinating. Now, of course, while you've been doing this magnificent feat all around the world, you've also been you've been raising money and awareness for family children's homes. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Happy Kids Foundation, which is a group of very, very talented people who are gathered years ago and said that they want to take care of the family foster houses. So the houses which can give you kind of a sense of family, and they take children there with very difficult family situations. They have now almost 150 children, and they have done magnificent work in terms of also the Ukraine-Russia war, because they transferred thousands of children from Ukraine to Poland. And
Children who were from foster homes
yes,
themselves
exactly.
and family homes.
Yes, exactly. And since 2016, I joined forces with them. And of course, apart from the fact that there is a kind of a symbolic way of me climbing the mountains with the flag, which is signed by the children to the top, I also do kind of fundraising elements. Each expedition is dedicated to something, and apart from it, sometimes I work with sponsors and they want to back me up, and sometimes I work with sponsors where they say, okay, I will back you up, but also I want to work with the foundation and give them some money. We have been able to also organize and find sponsorship for the climbing camps with children. So we've done that. So there is a lot of good things around those expeditions in between period of time.
Right. And now, what does going to the mountains give those children?
Well, each expedition is, as I said, dedicated to some different cause and different fundraising projects. So one thing is, of course, this financial matter. But on the, I would say, psychological level or motivational level, when I meet with them and I try to go there after every expedition, I talk with them about the struggles and difficulties which I had during those expeditions and in before. And for example, when I was heading to Antarctica, and it was enormous endeavor because it took me almost a year and a half, I think, to gather sponsorship. And then 19 hours before the expedition, I had a COVID and I was put in quarantine. So I had to stop the expedition, and then I have to postpone it a year because that's the time.
Because of your health, you've got to be in good health.
Health, and both the weather window on Antarctica is very narrow. So they gave me huge amounts of support, the children, I mean, from the foundation. And we talked about the fact that how you deal with such problems and how you deal with such stressful situations. And also kind of a, motivational way of the fact that I really created this project out of nowhere and out of nothing, and I wasn't fit. I wasn't in a good shape.
You weren't. What were you like? Like me?
You don't want to know. And basically, and everything changed. I climbed one mountain which was available for me, Mont Blanc, then Kilimanjaro, then step by step, and I think that saying out loud in 2016 that I'm going to tackle 7 Summits Challenge was not even brave, but kind of too much, because I couldn't know how this project will go. And now, after 8 years, I'm at the finish of this project almost. And this says something that you really can achieve everything, but you have to put heart and lot of hard work in it.
Now, when you started that in 2016, I mean, do you have any? Sometimes you're going up a mountain, it's hard, the weather, the snow's in your face. Do you ever think, why did I ever start this?
This feeling is kind of your silent, invisible companion at every expedition, probably, because everyone who is facing those challenges and climbing mountain is like at some point thinking to himself that, my God, just why? Just why? You are waking up in ice-covered tent. This ice is melting, so the water is pouring on your face. Then you have to cook. Then probably you have to go up and put everything to your backpack, the whole tent, the whole camp, and you say to yourself, why? But then
now, I'll one final thing, 2 words, if you were going to say to our viewers, why?
Because it's true passion, and you can discover yourself again there. And you can discover that no matter what passion you have, mountaineering or pottery or collecting post stamps, everything, if you put passion in something, you can achieve almost everything.
Well, Michał Leksiński, mountaineer, good luck in getting to Everest and come back and talk to us. I'm sure we'd be glad to see you.
Thank you, I will.